In this video, I'll show you how I converted a Grey Knight Terminator into Witch Hunter Inquisitor Tyrus. If you are familiar with the Games Workshop game Inquisitor, then you are probably already familiar with its captivating cover art featuring Inquisitor Tyrus, a witch hunter of the Ordo Hereticus. As the miniatures in the Inquisitor game had a scale of 54mm, fans of this game have often challenged themselves to recreate its characters in 40K's usual 28mm scale. In fact, this is my second attempt at this recreation. Let's see if I can do a better job than last time. I start by scouring my bits box for any parts that look like they might be useful. I like storing my bits in clear bags or containers to make searching them easier. The bulk of the conversion uses parts from the Grey Knight Terminator set. This includes legs, torso, and arms. I had started on this conversion a while back but never finished it. As you can see, I mostly completed the legs and torso already. I achieved this by separating a pair of Grey Knight legs from their pelvis, as well as their feet from their legs. I repositioned the legs to more closely match the stance of Tyrus in the artwork. I used green stuff as a gap filler and to build up a new pelvis to attach the legs to. Here I'm using blue tack to loosely assemble the model as a sort of sketch to see how the final conversion might look. Once I am happy with it, I'll take a picture of it with my phone so I can reference it later. I took a long break from the hobby after Warhammer Fantasy ended. During this time, I slowly was discovering the Inc. 28 community, and a friend of mine recommended that I read the Eisenhorn trilogy by Dan Abnett. I highly recommend you check out these books if you want to understand the vibe of this setting. There are no strict rules recommendations for Inc. 28 games. Some people use the original Inquisitor rules, some use Necromunda rules. The rules that I've been wanting to try for a while now are Shadow War, Armageddon rules. This rule set is based on the original Necromunda rule set, which is my favorite Games Workshop game. The standalone version of this rulebook even includes rules for Inquisitor warbands, and I was really excited when just a couple of weeks ago, Tabletop Minions talked about the reasons that make this rule set awesome. Be sure to check out Adam's excellent video on the subject. Pachow. Okay, time to assemble the model. I start with the shoulder pads, which are a combination of Stormcast shoulder pads and trimmed down Marauder shoulder pads. By reversing the orientation of the Stormcast shoulder pad and combining it with the Marauder shoulder pad, I am able to match the segmented appearance of Tyrus's armor. Detailed conversion work like this often requires a lot of cutting, trimming, and dry fitting of the components before gluing them, making sure everything is lining up just right and fitting correctly. Using a trick I learned from a recent Peachy Tips video, I used some blue tack and then super glue to position this head exactly where I want it. Then I lock it in place with some super glue accelerator. Next, I start work on his left arm. I trim away part of the arm so that it will sit closer to the model's body, then dry fit it and glue it in place. I follow the same steps for his hand. Trim, dry fit, glue. I check the fit of the shoulder pad and glue it in place, attempting to match the placement and orientation shown in the artwork. For his Power Fist, I trim an old Chaos Space Marine Power Fist, attempting to make it look a little less chaosy. I again trim it so that it sits closer to the body, and then I glue it in place. And then glue the shoulder pad to it. The Inquisitor icon on the back of the model is a defining feature of Tyrus' silhouette. I have chosen a pretty thick bit for this, so there is a bit of gap that will need to be filled at the back of it. I choose this segmented Ossiarch Bone Reaper's shield to help reinforce the miniature's back armor. Using a Dremel, I remove the arm from the back of the shield so that it can fit snugly against the back. Even with this piece, there is still a gap beneath the icon that will need to be filled. So I mix up some green stuff and place some below the icon. Using some sculpting tools and a bit of saliva, I work the green stuff into the shape that I want. I take advantage of the already mixed green stuff to bulk out the lower portion of the torso's armor as well, again attempting a segmented appearance. I further gap fill the back of the shield before adding it to the model's back. To match the artwork, I want the model to have a pistol holstered on his left hip, so I trim one and glue it to his leg. I also break off his hand while doing this, so I'll need to glue it back on. Next, I add some additional bits to his waist to help hide some of my rough sculpting work. Green stuff alone didn't bond the shield to his back, so I used some superglue and accelerant to fix that. I used the remaining green stuff for the codpiece of his armor. Next, I work on the retractable power dagger that attaches to the outside of the power fist. I find a really excellent bit for this, and then I trim it, dry fit it, and glue it in place. This will also help hide some of the chaosy elements on the power fist. For the dagger to fit, I have to trim away the back of some of the fingers. I cut a power sword tip to use as the dagger, trim it, dry fit it, and then glue it in place. To match the art, I use another Marauder shoulder pad to match the sort of gauntlet or bracer on his left arm. I trim it and dry fit it several times until I am happy with the shape. While this kind of thing can seem tedious, it's actually really rewarding when you are able to make a bit fit perfectly. I'll use just about any tool to trim a bit: a craft knife, a box cutter, a mold line remover tool, a file, a Dremel, whatever gets the job done. Just look at this bracer. Awesome. Next, I use a little bit of green stuff to help affix the small Bessic U shield to his pauldron. I'll reinforce this with a bit of superglue that I apply using some thin wire. The model is coming together, but now we can really elevate it with some additional details. The artwork shows Tyrus with many purity seals adorning his armor. Using plastic glue, we'll add one to his Bessic U, his pauldron, and both legs. And if plastic glue isn't working, sometimes you just gotta switch to super glue. I add a few more bits to his waist on both the front and back, and one more purity seal for good measure. The last piece I add is a small reliquary that I place on his back. And here's the finished Tyrus conversion. I think I managed to surpass my previous conversion and make something that's easily recognizable as Tyrus. In future videos, I'll be building out a retinue for Tyrus, so if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss those. This is Xander's Arcane Study. Thanks for watching.